Well, more and more public relations has become identified with the reputation of an organization. In an ideal world, the chief executive officer, the CEO of an organization, is in truth the primary public relations person of any organization, because he is the first and foremost person, or she is the first and foremost person concerned with the reputation of that organization, be it for profit or not for profit. The public relations person, therefore, who acts as a counsel to the CEO, or the researcher and the planner, must be able to do a multitude of things today that he or she was not called upon to do earlier. One is they must be able to anticipate issues that are going to impinge on the company, that will be risks for the company. Some people in the profession call that issues management. I'm inclined to think that's a little arrogant. I think it's issues identification. And certainly in my department at Illinois Bell, we had both research and an issues identification group. And based on the research that we did about the attitudes of our constituencies, be they customers or the community at large, and within the community at large, what were their basic interests? Was it the environment? Was it philanthropy? Was it diversity? All kinds of issues that are relevant to the corporation today. We have to scan the landscape and pick out the issues that were getting to be of concern to our community out there, be it the larger community or the more immediate community, and analyze those issues from the point of view of how they might affect the company. And if they indeed affected the company, then what would our action plan be? So we develop an action plan, first of all, for a company to take if a certain issue develops and becomes of consequence to impact on the company and its operation. So you're doing a lot of research and you're doing a lot of issues identification. You are, of course, if you're in public relations today, you are concerned with the whole business of the globalization of markets. Today, it's no longer possible to curl up in your little corner of whatever state you are and decide that you aren't going to have anything to do with the rest of the world. In the state that I come from today, in Illinois, most of its geography is devoted to farming. Well, you think of farmers as being the great isolationists of the world. I mean, they're wedded to the earth and the ground and the cattle and everything. In reality, the farmer is one of the greatest internationalists today in the world, because the Illinois farmer is selling his products overseas. So he has a vested interest in what's happening in the overseas markets, and a vested interest in how this country handles its relationships with other countries. So the whole business of globalization has impacted public relations just as it has impacted the businesses that we serve. It means, too, that if we're going to be able to sell our company's products or services in Africa or Italy or the Middle East or the Far East, that we must understand something about the cultures of those countries. And obviously they're very different from ours. We're no longer just wedded to Western Europe, for example. So suddenly that threads itself back into education, and I'm not sure that all of our students today are putting as much emphasis on foreign languages as they should, or as they will find necessary when they hit the turf of the professional practice. So you have globalization, you have issues management, you have more and more companies taking an interest in how their philanthropy affects the total community, and how it in turn affects the company, rather than just making idle ad hoc decisions about where they can give their money, because everybody's willing to take money and do good things with it. But you must have the smart company today has a priority list of recipients for their philanthropy. I would hope that the priority list would always include at the top education, because that is the seminal force behind everything good that happens in the future, in my view. So you have public relations. The purview of public relations today is as large as the purview of any corporation, of any nonprofit corporation, of any governmental group, because public relations is an integral part of what they do. So the future is very strong. It seems to have a horizon that is endless, and I think that public relations more and more will have an impact on our corporate business, but more importantly on the society in which we live.